guys, welcome back to my channel where today I'm bringing you this Valentine's Day glam makeup look. So today guys, I'm going to show you how you can achieve this smoky eye makeup look paired with a lovely red lip. So guys, I've already primed my eyelids using my MAC Soft Ochre paint pot to do this. And guys, eyeshadow primer is super important, especially when you're doing a glam eyeshadow look, because the last thing you want is, you go to all that trouble to do a beautiful smoky eye and then it starts coming off, or the colors don't really blend out properly. And eyeshadow primer is so important to really make those colors stand out as well. And today guys, we're using this super cute Tarte Toasted palette. This palette is something I call a bit of an all-rounder, meaning it's got some great shades for your everyday kind of more neutral daytime glam looks, all the way to kind of like your evening dramatic smoky eyes. So it's got some really nice soft neutral tones that you can use for your crease and your transition colors, and then the shimmery tones, as you can see, they're like a little bit more nude or a little bit more bronzy and really nice and shimmery and glowy as well. For our first color, we're going to go in with this soft shade just here called Latte, and we're going to pop that into the crease. So I am of course using my fluffy blending brush to do this, and guys, it's the best way to get your crease colour as like a nice soft blend is using a fluffy blending brush. And guys, we are going to be using two crease colours today, but for your first one, you just want to make sure it's kind of like a soft wash of colour. So you just want to warm up that crease to start off with, give it a bit of like a natural shadow. So usually for my crease colour, I pick a colour that's, 1 or 2 shades darker than my natural skin tone. So obviously that will be kind of different for everyone, but usually, anything that is 1 or 2 shades darker and creates a nice kind of soft shadow just to start your eye makeup off with. And for anyone who is a beginner, not to worry, your crease is basically this bit that just goes inside. So everyone's crease will be different, but it's just that kind of line that goes in there. So you just want to push your brush into that crease and basically just follow it through back and forth. So guys, you're then going to double up on that crease colour just to deepen it up a bit. And the second crease colour you're going to use is this shade right here called Warmth. So you're going to pop that second crease colour in the same place, but the difference this time is your brushes. So for my first crease colour, I used kind of like a bigger fluffy blending brush, and this time around it's a bit more of like a skinnier blending brush, so you can just see that there, and that's going to help you get right into that crease as well. So I'm using this second shade just to go right inside my crease, and using a skinnier blending brush just helps you to be a little bit more specific and get right inside so you can really deepen it up and blend those two shades together. It's almost like you're using the point of the brush to just really focus in on your crease line and then just take it back and forth. And that's literally all you need to do. The blending brush will do all the work for you. As you can see, this just creates a bit more depth into your crease colour and gives you that nice sort of softer blend as well. So then we're ready for our lovely nude eyelid colour, and I'm going to use this one just here called Candle. And this time around, I'm using a flat brush. So a flat brush is perfect for any kind of shimmery tones, anything with a bit of pigment, because it just places it a lot better on the eyes. And this shade just has got that perfect kind of gold, nudie, champagne-y tone to it. Okay guys, so once you've got the eyelid colour on, you're going to be popping 2 shades into the outer corners. So the first one's going to be this brown shade called Cozy. When you're doing this step, you can either use like a baby sort of blending brush, or you can use a pencil brush as well, whichever one you find easier to pop in those outer corner colours. So when you're doing the corners, it's literally just that, almost like that little kind of C shape, just there on the outside. So you don't want to cover up obviously all your eyelid colour, but you just want to kind of fill in that little C shape. Now feel free to almost kind of like wing this colour or extend it outwards if you want to create more of that kind of dramatic effect. But kind of just using your brush in that little corner, you can even move it around in a C shape if you find that easier, and just kind of placing that into the outside corners. I kind of start from that C shape, work it into the eye, and then I take what's left on my brush and I kind of just extend that a little bit outwards as well. So you really want to build this up, and the best way to do it is just layer by layer, and keep your movement really small. You'll notice it's not the same as like when we did our crease colour, when we were just going back and forth like that. It's more kind of a little bit tinier, and we're being a little bit more kind of specific with it as well. So guys, if you need to blend any of this out, or if you've created any kind of like harsh lines, which it's okay, it happens, especially if you're a beginner or you're trying something new, then do you remember our skinny blending brush that we used on our second crease color? You can use the same brush just to kind of go over any sort of harsh lines that you might want to blend out. So this might be, you know, usually is around the top sort of thing, if you want to blend that a little bit more into your crease color. Or, you know, if you've done the corner colour and it looks a bit like a splodge, or there's just like a hard angle or hard line from there, just use your skinny blending brush just to kind of go over that to soften it out. So then we're going to make those corners even smokier, and we're going to add a second darker corner colour, and we're going for the darkest one in the palette, and it's called Fireside. So this time around you're going to use the same brush, but you're almost doing like an even tinier, like a little baby C shape. So if you did the first one a little bit bigger, so you kind of went round like this with your first one, with this one you're keeping it really, really small. And also, if you guys can see, I'm doing it quite close to my eyelash line. So this means the colour goes upwards, so that kind of blend goes upwards rather than it going out. So you kind of want to use just your brush to place it in like that little baby C shape, very, very close to your lashes. You can do the same thing with this colour and just slightly extend it out, but not too far as when you did the first one. And again guys, really build this up to get that depth of colour in there. Just do it layer by layer and work it in a little bit at a time. Guys, eye makeup does take patience, especially when you're doing like a bit more of a dramatic smoky eye. It's also why I've done my eyes first today, because then that way I can just clear up any kind of mess and then do my skin afterwards. So if you are a beginner as well, and you know, even like pros like myself, for example, like I prefer sometimes just to do my eyes and then clean up any kind of mess and then just follow on with my skin. Again, any blending, use your skinny blending brush and just go over those lines just to soften them up. And then guys comes my favourite bit, which I call the cleanup. And all I do is I get a cotton pad, or you can use like a cotton bud or whatever, dipped in some eye makeup remover or any kind of micellar water. And I pop my finger just underneath it like that. And then what I do is I basically wipe from a certain angle. So the angle that I follow is the corner of my eye all the way up to the brow. And what that does is basically cleans up your eyeshadow to give you a really nice kind of straight winged out line. It gives you like a really nice sort of clean cut sort of winged out shape. And what's even better is you can use it as a guide for your winged eyeliner. So now when you try and do your wing with your eyeliner, you can just follow that angle again and you've kind of got it spot on. I also use whatever's left on my cotton pad, and you can just use it to kind of wipe away any fallout that you might have had, you know, when you're putting your eyeshadows on. But guys, this is what I meant before by just, you know, don't worry about making a bit of a mess, like when you're trying to put your eyeshadows on. Just get them on, get the colour on, and then you can always do your cleanup after. So guys, I've just finished off by adding my winged eyeliner. Now this is not something you have to add to this eye makeup. Like I showed you guys before, when I did the cleanup, it already kind of gave you that winged out shape. So if you're someone who doesn't want to add eyeliner to this look, that's absolutely fine. Let the eyeshadow do the talking. It kind of already has that winged out shape, so you can kind of get away with not putting any eyeliner on if you wanted to. I've also added on my Huda Beauty eyelashes in Samantha. And now I'm just going to go ahead and finish off the bottom of my eyes just to kind of balance that out, because right now it's looking quite top heavy and we want to add that smokiness underneath as well. I'm just going to pop this black pencil into my waterline. Now if you guys wanted it to be quite dramatic and intense, then go ahead and use black. If you want it to be a bit softer, then you can also use brown, and that gives it a bit more of a subtle look. Now, as you guys can see, I've already got my base on as well, so I've popped on my foundation and set it with my powder, because when you're trying to do sort of like the underneath of your eyes, you know, if you're trying to put on concealer and then you're trying to set that with powder, it can kind of get a bit mixed up. So I prefer to just leave the bottom of my eyes as it is, get my base on, and then start to do the next step. Do you remember those two brown shades that we used in the outer corners? We're going to use both of them, and we're just going to smudge that underneath the eyes. So I'm just using the tip of the brush. It's like a little flat sort of fluffy brush, so anything small that has a bit of an edge to it, just to kind of wiggle this underneath and create that kind of smudginess. You can even use something like this, which is a bit like a mini shader brush. Now this one's from MAC, so I do always pop down all the details of my brushes below in the information section. So just check that if you want to make sure what brushes to use. Now I'm just going on top of that with that darker brown shade, so that second darker colour, just to deepen that up even more. So guys, I've just finished off with my highlight and contour as well. Now stay tuned because this video will be coming up next week. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. But next week's tutorial will be a beginner's easy guide to highlighting and contouring, where I will basically go through what I've used today on my face and some really easy tips and tricks on how to get your highlight and contour spot on. But as a little sneak peek, the highlight that I have used is from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit. And what I'm going to do just to finish off the eyes is basically use the same highlighter I've used on my cheeks, in my inner corners and my eyebrow bone. And I love doing this just to glam up my eye makeup look just a little bit more. And using the same highlight that I've used on my cheeks just helps to kind of tie everything in together, and you get that lovely little bit of, you know, bit of glam in your eyes. You want to make sure that you definitely highlight underneath the eyebrow bone too. And again, this is where, you know, all the high points of the face basically. So wherever the high points of the face are, you know, every time that hits the light is when you can see that lovely glow. So guys, I've just added a lip to finish off this look. And of course, it wouldn't be Valentine's Day, would it, without a nice red lipstick. So you can't go wrong for Valentine's Day with a nice bit of red. And what I've used today is the MAC Lip Pencil in Cherry. And this is actually a new liquid lipstick that I've just tried out, and I actually really like it. It's one of the Rimmel Stay Satin lip colours, and it's in the shade Redical. And what I really like about it is it's not too drying on the lips, so it's not completely matte, but it does have that sort of finish, but it has more of a satin texture, so it's a bit more comfortable to wear and long lasting as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's tutorial. So whether you're celebrating Valentine's Day with a loved one, or you're just having a Galentine's and you're going out with the girls, don't forget guys, Valentine's Day is also there to show love to those people around you who have always been by your side. So make sure you show some love to your friends and family too. Drop me a follow on Instagram, and make sure you also subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on next week's tutorial, which remember is that easy highlighting contouring video coming up. And as always, stay beautiful, stay you. Great shades for like pretty much every, so they're sort of kind of warm, you know, but next week's tutorial will be a beginner's easy guide to highlight. But next week's tutorial will be so today guys, we're gonna go through, so I hope you guys enjoyed this.